Hi everybody, this is Jason with Everyday Prepping. In this video I wanted to cover the topic of bug out bags. Bug out bag or get out of dodge bag or even just an emergency bag. It's basically a bag of supplies and tools that can get you from one destination to another in an emergency. They'll contain some items such as food for a few days, some ways to gather and purify water, to start a fire for cooking, for warmth, and also to purify water. Some first aid supplies, some hygiene supplies and products, and then some tools like communications, a good knife, maybe some small electronics depending on your situation. And then most importantly, you'll have some comfort items and some entertainment, something that most people overlook. Basically, you want the bag in a location set up that you can just grab and go. You don't want to have to fumble with throwing last minute items in or anything like that. You want to be able to have 5 minutes notice, just grab the bag, load up the family in the car, and go. Or if you have to travel on foot, that's another consideration that you'll have as well. So what I want to do today is just show you a basic setup for what you could have in a bug out bag. A few things to consider. This is just going to be my opinion of some of the different things that you should include. It's not going to be a complete list, but this should get you a pretty good start. And then the nice thing about a bug out bag is each person's is different, so you can kind of custom tailor it to what you may need in your particular situation. For example, if you happen to live in a colder climate, you may want to focus a little bit more on some warmth items. In a rainy climate, maybe more ponchos, rain jackets, that sort of thing. Like I say, you can kind of customize the bag based on what you need, but you have to watch that you don't get it too heavy also, because you may be carrying this bag for quite a few miles if you have to bug out on foot. So let's take a look at a couple basic items and a few things to consider when you're setting up a bug out bag. Okay, so when you're setting up your bug out bag, one of the first things that you want to take a look at is the bag itself. You want to try to avoid something like a cheap backpack. You want to get something that's built a little sturdier, something with like double stitch zippers, nice strong material that's not going to rip on you, because you figure this bag you're going to need it in an emergency. You don't want something that's going to get a small tear and just keep ripping and ripping and ripping. This particular bag here has a large pocket on the inside here, and it also has a smaller inside pouch where you could put a water bladder. They're kind of like you see on some of the Camelback packs, where it's basically a 2-liter pouch that has a straw that comes out through the bag, and it just gives you a way to store up to 2 liters of water right in the bag. I don't have that pouch in this bag particularly, but I do have it in my bug out bag. I also have a middle pouch here, which has some smaller pouches inside, and an external pouch here where you would keep items that you want to get to right away. This bag also has what's called MOLLE webbing. Basically, it's a way to attach different items to the outside of the bag that you might need in an emergency, such as a first aid kit. Down below here, it's got a couple clips that you could use to roll up something like a large jacket or a sleeping bag or a tent or something like that. The nice thing about some of these bags is they have this nice big latch in the front, a nice big belt buckle. That's something that you want to have because it helps keep the pack attached to you, so it's not flopping around as you're trying to move, and it kind of helps disperse the weight a little bit too, so it's not quite as hard to carry. So the next consideration for your bug out bag is going to be water. In my bag I have a Nalgene bottle, and this guy's usually filled with chlorinated water. By using the chlorination process, the water is actually able to be stored for about 5 years. Personally, I change it out every year. The bottle actually has graduations. This is a 32-ounce bottle, and that's nice to have the graduations on the bottles, because then you can use the water purification tablets. Now these are actually made by Portable Aqua. They're just sold under the Coleman brand. I picked them up at Walmart. They actually kind of work together. The white ones here is what actually cleans your water and purifies it. Of course, you should kind of filter it first through a piece of cloth or something to get out the large pieces of sediment. And then the second bottle helps remove some of the chlorination taste from the water. It's kind of a byproduct of the process of cleaning it. And then finally, I also include these emergency drinking water pouches. They're manufactured by Datrex. You might think it's kind of funny buying emergency water, but these guys are actually sealed Mylar bags. They have a 5-year shelf life on them. These guys in particular are 4-ounce pouches, just a tear spout up top. These are pretty much what they put on a lot of the emergency rafts that you'll see on different boats. Like I say, these are 4-ounce bags. They seem to hold up pretty well. I've had them in my bags for a few years, and I've only had one of them tear on me. They seem to hold up pretty well. So it's a nice way to carry extra water in your bag that you don't have to worry about the storage aspect of it. You know it's going to be good for a while. And when it gets close to becoming expired, you just open it up and drink it. So the next thing I want to take a look at would be the food aspect. Now most of the information I found will say that most people can survive up to 3 weeks without any food. I don't know about you, but I'd be feeling kind of hungry by then. So in my bug out bag, I've kind of included a couple items for the food aspect. The first thing I have are these Datrex emergency rations. Now this little package here is supposed to be able to help you stay nourished for up to 3 days. Basically inside this package there's a bunch of smaller food bars, and you can see here on the top it's actually a 2400 calorie bar. Basically it says right here, eat 1 bar every 6 hours per person. You break it up into small pieces, and on the back here it gives you the different information regarding the bar, but you can see here at the top it says servings per packet would be 12. So you know, every 6 hours you eat one of the bars and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, yeah, 12 individual bars within the packet. So that should keep one person going for about 72 hours. From what I've seen of some of the reviews, you really don't want to go much longer than the 72 hours because you really start to feel kind of fatigued. But an emergency situation, it'll definitely get you by. Again, manufactured by Datrex. And then the next item I have is a MRE that I've kind of put together myself. I found a website that lets you pick and choose individual components of the MRE. The nice thing about that is if there are certain things that you know you're not going to eat, you're not paying for those, you can just kind of pick and choose what you want. I put this MRE together for about $8 or $9. Inside, take a look here. I have the beef ravioli in meat sauce, and these guys actually have a pretty good shelf life on them too. They're all stamped on the package. This one here was manufactured January 16th, and it was actually rated for a 10-year shelf life. So I have the beef ravioli, and then if you want a warm meal, you actually purchase these MRE heaters. Basically what you do is just add a little bit of water to it, shake it up, seal it, and stick it inside of your MRE package, inside the box, and it heats up the meal relatively quickly. I also have the mixed fruit in heavy syrup, again stamped with the manufacturer date. And then I just went through and simplified the code a little bit for myself so I can kind of tell when the stuff expires. I also included a spoon because you kind of need that to eat. And then a couple paper towels. And then this guy here is the apple turnover. Again, 10-year shelf life on those. I'll include the link in the description of the video of where I purchased these guys so you can kind of take a look at them. And then I also purchased one of these nifty little P38 can openers. Basically you just stick it in a can and just kind of work it around. And it just gives you a nice lightweight little can opener. That way you're never without if you ever need to open any canned items. As far as first aid goes, I just basically purchased one of these small basic first aid packs from Walmart. What I like about it is it's a nice hard sturdy case. It's a nice bright red color. It also includes some of the basics that you'll need. Some regular bandages, alcohol wipes, all that good stuff. Take a look inside here. Includes a small roll of tape, so you have that for attaching some of your gauze. Some triple antibiotic ointment. Now I added to the pack this water burn gel. This stuff works really well for relieving some of the pain if you get a burn from a fire or just something hot. Works really well. We've got the alcohol prep pads to clean out some of the wounds. Antiseptic hand wipes to kind of get rid of some of the dirt before you go and actually sterilize. A couple butterfly closures for sealing up some of the larger wounds. You can use these to kind of pinch it together. And of course, your good old Band-Aid adhesive strips. And then I've gone through the kit as well and added to it like a couple knuckle bandages, some of the larger Band-Aid bandages, a couple waterproof pads. Just basically something a little bit extra to kind of take care of some of the larger wounds you might get. The kit included 2 4x4 gauze pads. I went out and added a couple more because you know if you have an injury you're going to have to change these pads, especially if it's bleeding. So I just wanted a little bit extra in my pack. I also include some Q-tips. I added a second set of gloves to it, so there's actually 2 sets now instead of just 1. And then I also purchased up at Walmart this nice little 2-pack of tweezers. It includes the sharp one and the slotted one. That way if you have to dig out any splinters or any small little things that might be in a wound, you have a way to do that. The kit also includes a cold compress. Basically you just snap the inside of it and it becomes cold and you can use it. Next up is your fire and warmth. The first thing I have is one of these heat sheets. It's actually a Mylar sleeping bag. So it's a little bit bigger than one of those Mylar blankets that you'll see, those little cheap film guys. This one here actually has instructions on how to make it into a tent. But it's a larger size. It's got a nice pouch that it comes in to kind of keep it folded up. This one in particular is a small, so it's 84 inches by 56 inches. More than big enough to crawl into. It says it's big enough for one person here. But the nice thing about these guys is because they are so large and kind of like a sleeping bag, you could cut it down the edge and use it to wrap up 2 people if you needed to. I just have the good old trusty Bic lighter. That way you have a quick and easy way to start a fire. Now some folks like these magnesium strips, and then you use the striker and the flint here across the top to start a fire. Basically you shave off a small pile of the shavings and then you use the flint to start the fire. I'm still learning and practicing with these guys. And then you have this guy here is called Wet Fire Fire Starting Tinder. just shave this off into a little pile, and then you start it, and it's supposed to burn really hot even when it's wet. It's supposed to give you up to like a 30-second burn time, which gives you enough time to start your small pile of leaves or sticks or something like that. And then these guys here are actually made by the company called UCO. They're called UCO Storm Matches. And they're actually really nice. It's got a nice hard case and then a waterproof ring here on the case. But they're called Storm Matches. It's actually a nice long match. Got a nice long burn section here to it. These actually come in a case of 25. They're like $9 on Amazon. And they also include extra starter that you can stick right on the front there. It's almost like a fine sandpaper. But a nice pack of matches there for the price. You get a good stack of them. It's also good to carry some different hygiene items in your pack, because, you know, even if you have to bug out, it doesn't have to be uncomfortable. Sometimes you're able to find a shower or a sink to wash your hands or something like that. So it's always good to I carry a small pack here. I've got some toothpaste, a toothbrush, a small thing of deodorant. I have bad acid reflux, so I carry a couple extra Prilosec in there, a bar of soap, a comb, and some shampoo. Yeah, that way if I'm ever in a spot where I can catch a shower or something like that, I can do that. Also a great thing if you have it in your car and maybe go out partying just a little too hard one night, you know, you can crash at somebody's house and you'll be fine. I also include a change of clothing. I've got an extra t-shirt, a pair of pants, a set of boxers, some socks in here also. And I've folded it just right that I can actually get it to fit in a 1-gallon Ziploc bag. Just kind of compressed all the air out of it and got it all to fit in there pretty well. Also include some hand sanitizer, a couple wet wipes, some tissues, and just a small roll of toilet paper. It's probably a good idea to carry maybe 2 or 3 of these just in case. Also in my bag I include a couple small tools, some electronics. This guy here is a Kato AM/FM short band weather radio. It has a solar panel on the top. It's got a flashlight here, which actually has 5 LEDs on it. But you can select, you know, your FM, your AM, your shortwave, or your weather band. The weather band is actually the NOAA weather radio, which is a really nice feature to have because you can actually pick up the NOAA broadcast depending where you're at, so you can kind of see what weather is coming your way. In the front here, it has the USB charger in. It also has a USB charger out that you can use to charge small cell phones or any other device that's powered by USB. But the nice thing about this guy is what's called a Dymo radio. So you actually use a hand crank to charge it. So basically all you have to do is open up the front of it, grab the USB cable for your cell phone, and plug it in. And then as you crank the radio, it charges your cell phone. So that's actually a really nice feature. That way you always have a charged cell phone battery wherever you're at. They say the rate is like, you know, cranking for 5 minutes will give you like a 2-minute phone call or something like that. But at least it's something. I also include a USB charger for my cell phone. This one is the 120. And then I also include this guy here, which is the 12 volt. This one's a dual charger. That way I always have a way to charge any USB device. I actually carry in my bug out bag some 2-way radios that have a charging port that's actually the same port as the USB. So that's nice. I can just use my radio or either one of these chargers and I can charge my cell phone and my two-way radios. That way if I don't have cell service, at least I have two-way radio communication. I like to carry the mag light. This is actually a mini mag LED light. This is the AA model. This guy is really bright. I really like this guy. But in my wife's bag, she has one of these Energizer flashlights here with the small carabiner on it. But this guy here is also a Dymo charger, if I can get it open. So you just crank it, and then you have your flashlight on that. It's a fairly decent light, not as bright as my mag light is, but the nice thing about it is you're not relying on batteries. So that's also an option for you there as well. And then I also have a set of work gloves in there, because you never know what you'll be getting into if you ever have to move any debris or anything like that. A set of gloves. Of course, every prepper needs a roll of duct tape. What I did with this guy was actually just took a old toilet paper roll and just wrapped duct tape around the toilet paper roll, and then just cut it off. That way I had something that I could collapse, as opposed to getting a huge roll of duct tape and trying to throw in my bag. I also like the just good old plain electrical tape, because I find that I can use this for tying different things up. It's sticky enough that I can use it in a lot of different places. I just really like using electrical tape more so than the duct tape. You also need to have a good quality knife. Now this guy here is a Gerber EVO knife. It's got the serrations here as well as the regular blade. It's got the thumb brake here for folding it down. Got the belt clip on it. But the nice thing I like about it is it's kind of a one-handed open. You can use this little tab here to open it up, or you've got the thumb screw here too that you can use up, and it locks in place. I've carried one of these, and they actually hold up fairly well for me as well. And I picked up one of these little guys too. It's sort of a compass, whistle, thermometer kind of combo. The whistle works pretty well on it. I've got to say, it definitely puts out some sound. The compass seems to be fairly true. That's one thing you usually have to watch with compasses, is how well they actually do find north. This guy also includes a magnifying glass, a small LED light, and then the thermometer on here is nice too, just so you can kind of see what your temperature is. And then I also have your good old Gerber multi-tool here. This is the Gerber suspension. The thing I like about this guy is the spring-loaded needle nose pliers on it. I just always like the spring-loaded pliers. But of course it's got your saw, your regular knives in there, the flathead screwdriver, Phillips head screwdriver, all that good stuff. It's always a good idea to have a multi-tool in your pack. And the multi-tool has the belt clip on it, so you can put it on your back belt clip. Or it's also got the straps here going up and down that you could use to attach it to the outside of your bag. So you have that nice and handy as well. And then a couple other tools that you might want to consider adding if you have the room. Be a nice set of channel locks. These are just the Stanley brand, but that way you have a set of channel locks should you ever need to grab a hold of something, or twist some wire or something like that, or turn a couple bolts. You've got a set of channel locks. Good set of needle nose pliers. Unfortunately, these are not the spring-loaded pliers, and I've sharpened up the cutters on them there too, so they actually cut wire fairly well. Good old adjustable wrench. And then this guy here is the Stanley Fat Max. This is one of those guys where you can change the bits out on it. What I like is the bits store right in the back of it. So you can just pull one of those bits out, stick it right in the top, and then it actually locks in there, so it doesn't just pull out on you, which is really nice. And of course it's the ratcheting action as well, you know, forward, back, and then you can lock it in the middle. But what I like about it is it doesn't have the big bit attachment on the front, or the bits just hanging off the side. You know, everything is kind of self-contained in it. Plus, the nice thing about using bits is as they wear out, you can always just change it out with a different one, as opposed to having a rounded off screwdriver. So that's a really nice guy. I picked him up on Amazon for like $8. So that's definitely a good one to carry in your pack as well. And then the last thing that I carry in my bag is just some different miscellaneous items. Some 550 paracord. They've actually started selling this at Walmart now. I think this roll was like $3 or $4, and it's 50 feet of it. The neat thing about paracord is it actually separates out into the smaller individual strands on it, so you can break it down and use smaller strands, because you never know when you're going to have to tie something down or tie something to the back of your pack. So you have the cord. I also like to carry a roll or two of quarters. That way if you're ever near a vending machine, or you need air for a tire, or you know, just about anything, it's good to have a roll of quarters with you. Carry a couple N95 masks. If you're ever in a situation where you've got a large amount of dust coming through, or if a sickness breaks out or something like that, and you've got something to help keep you covered. I also include two 55-gallon trash bags. These are always a great thing to have. You can cut a hole in it and make a poncho out of it. You can carry your trash. You can cover your bag with it. You can use them to, you know, collect water if you need to. You know, the bags are just always, you know, something really great to have. They have a lot of uses to them. I include a memo book, and then a pencil, a pen, and a Sharpie. That way you always have those if you ever need to write anything down. And then as for entertainment, you know, if you ever have to bug out or something, it can be a pretty stressful situation. And you may have some downtime, you know, rather than contemplating how bad everything is. You can play a hand of solitaire, or if there's a couple of you, good old Phase 10 deck. Just something to kind of keep your mind off of the stressful situation. I also carry some orange flag tape. This is actually biodegradable, so if you ever have to go off on a path somewhere, you can tie this off every so often so that people can find you if they need to. I also include a 15-minute roadside flare. You could use it to start a fire if you need to, but you know, if you ever get in a situation where someone needs to find you and you know they're close by, you could always just set off the flare and make it pretty easy. I also have these 6-inch snap lights. Now they're manufactured by Silalume. You actually do get more than the 12 hours that these are rated for. And it's not just 12 hours of light either, it's 12 hours of usable light. I think I've had these go 14, maybe 15 hours before. But they're a snap light, just like you see at the carnivals. You know, you snap it and you shake it and it activates it. But they put out a lot of light. So I actually carry 3 of them in my pack. And I also have one of these guys here. It's the Starflash Ultra. It's a signal mirror. It's got a little star in it, so you can kind of use the star to aim at maybe a passing helicopter or something like that. And then you can use it to reflect the sunlight so you can signal somebody. Or if you need to, you also have it as a regular mirror. which is kind of nice too. So those are just some of the extras that I like to carry in my pack. That way I have them. So there you have it. There's a couple different ideas for what you can pack in your bag, and some different things to think about too. Now, some folks might be sitting there, that's an awful lot of stuff to carry, and some folks might be thinking, well, you know, that's not enough. I'd like to add to that. Well, that's the neat thing, you know, it's your bag. You can set it up to be as prepared as you want to be. You know, we're all learning here. You just set it up for what works for you, and just gather some different advice and think through things. I mean, I'm always coming up with things that I want to add to my bag, or things that I think I might not need. You can buy some of these bug out bags pre-made. They sell them as a complete kit, but you don't really know what's in there. You're not really sure of the quality. At least making it yourself, you know, sometimes you might spend a little more, but you'll be able to control things such as the quality. You also want to consider rotating your supplies as well. Some things you might not think about, like hand sanitizer and toothpaste, actually have expiration dates. So you want to rotate those things out so that you can still use them, or just to be sure that you don't have expired items in your bag. It's also a seasonal thing too. You might want to put warmer clothes in there for the winter, some sunscreen for the summer. You know, it's your bag. Set it up how you want. You know, just the fact that you have one ready and that you've put some thought into it is going to put you at such an advantage. You know, should some major catastrophe happen, or just some minor inconvenience, you can say, oh yeah, I've got something in my bag that can help out with that. So, thanks for watching.